Hey y'all.
Don't do that.
Why?
Because I was wiping my sweat.
Oh. Hey y'all. Welcome to another episode of A Conversation with Joe. I'm Chris. I'm joined with my very, 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 very good friend, Tavon Lawrence.
Woo, woo, woo!
Okay. All right now. We got the pilgrims yelling in the background. Tavon, for those of you that don't know, he is the owner and operator of Photography by One Accord. He is like the dopest photographer I know, the dopest videographer, the dopest editor. Y'all gonna see his social media right here. Holla at him. But then on the flip side, he's also an educator in the Baltimore City public school system. What is your title? Because I always forget it.
I'm the site director for the Baltimore City Teaching Residency, which is an alternative certification program. So if you want to be a teacher, but you didn't go to school to be a teacher, you can be a teacher.
We need some black teachers. We need black teachers. All right, so we have coffee from Sophomore Coffee on Maryland Avenue. It's actually a really nice spot. Unfortunately, because of the pandemic, we couldn't go inside. But it's really nice on the inside, so I can't wait to go back once everything opens up. I have iced coffee with oat milk and vanilla. And what do you have, T?
So I don't drink any coffee. No coffee for me. No goat milk. None of that.
Not a goat.
This is a iced tea on the rocks with sugar.
People who don't drink coffee, you can come. It's fine. I don't discriminate. All right, so cheers.
Cheers.
And let's taste it. It's so hot. I don't care what it tasted like. I just wanted something cold. But it's actually pretty good. I usually don't get vanilla, but all right. Let's get into it.
Uh-oh.
All right, so T.
Take it easy on me.
So, you're a creative, like a dope creative. You don't just like do video. Like you take time with it and like you're precise with it. But then on the other side, you're also this really, really, really dedicated educator. So how do you balance the two? Like, I wouldn't say polar opposites, but like how do you balance the two sides?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think like I am a person that always thinks about all of the gifts that you have and making really, really good use of your gifts. I was talking to my sister one time and we were just talking about all of her gifts. And it's just like, look, you use it or you lose it, right? And so when I think about my gifts, I'm always thinking about ways that I can use it, even if I'm integrating that into education or, you know, vice versa. It's just about finding that balance, right? Scheduling and prioritizing. So I don't normally shoot during the week at all. I'm all focused in on education and my full-time job and making sure that I'm dedicated to that work. And then I do most of my shooting on the weekends. So clients will call me and say, hey, I have this thing on Wednesday. And I'm like, I'm sorry.
That's nice.
I'm sorry, I can't do it Wednesday. If I can do it, I'll do it. But most of the times I'll try to stray away from that just so I can give the proper attention to all of the pieces.
So, which one do you like best?
Oh my gosh, that's a really hard question.
I know it is.
I know it
is. So if somebody said, Tavon, I'm about to shoot you right now, pick one. Like which one would you pick? Because for those of y'all that know T, like y'all know that he puts his all into both of them. Like he's really, really dedicated. Like he makes me want to be a teacher, and I really don't even want to teach. But every time he talks about education, it's like I want to be a part of that. So, which one would you choose?
So I think like photography and video for me is something that I really, really enjoy doing. I think it's something that when I step into it, it's just something that takes me into a whole nother world and a whole nother dimension. It's something that I feel that I'm really good at. But on the flip side, education is doing something for more than just me. It's doing something for generations and generations to come. And so I'm always looking for ways to not just impact me and my household, but to impact a larger scale and a larger scale of people. So if someone held a gun up to me, choose one, I'm probably choosing education.
Okay.
And I'm probably choosing education for all of the reasons that I said, but also to make sure that we continue this huge fight for equity in our system for our kids, and for Black folk in Baltimore and all around the world. That part right there.
That part. What are your top 3 favorite movies? Top 3 favorite movies. Top 3.
You would think, because like I do a lot of video, that I'm like a big like movie fan and I'm always watching movies. I don't. I think if we were talking about all time, I absolutely love Lean on Me. That's one of my like favorite
you
movies.
Mr. Clark.
No, I'm not Mr. Clark.
That's why you
Unchain the doors.
That's why you into education, because of Mr. Clark. That makes sense now.
Yeah, I mean, I think education has a part to do with it, and just like the story behind education and why we need to pay the field of education some more, give it some more attention. And I guess there's a little theme there, because I also love a documentary called Waiting on Superman.
Okay.
And that documentary is all about the educational system, and charter schools and lotteries, and just giving our kids a better education. And then the last I would say isn't necessarily one specific movie, but I love the director Spike Jonze.
Okay.
He's a music video director, and he's done some other work too. And just like his creativity shines through every piece of work that he does. How about you? What's your 3 favorites?
My top 3 favorites. That's tough, because literally all I do is watch movies and documentaries. So my answers right now are like what's most fresh in my mind. The Truman Show, Hamilton.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Oh yeah.
And then number 3 for me would be, as a creative, mine would be She's Gotta Have It by Spike Lee.
Yes.
That's one of my favorites. As a Black man living in Baltimore, a father, a husband, a friend, a brother, how has everything, because I feel like a lot of the times we don't check in on our men. How has all of this like affected you? Because you're still working, you're still creating, and you're still, raising a very strong, beautiful Black family. Hey, y'all. How has all of this affected you?
When we say all of this, are we talking about COVID, or are we talking
all
about
of it? COVID, the civil unrest.
Yeah, so I think I'll start with the civil unrest. I think a lot of people, especially in this time, a lot of our white counterparts and our white friends are checking in on just Black people in general, not even Black males. And I think for me, I'm just at a place where I'm like, you can check in on me right now, but this has been a constant problem and a constant issue. So it's not impacting me any more or any less than it's impacted me my entire life. It's something that we have experienced. It's something that we have endured for a long time, and it's something that we have been fighting against really all the way dating back to 1619. Like we can go all the way back there. And every time a Black person has tried to get a fight for equity in this country, there has been some system or some person who has come and created a barrier to make us have to fight harder and harder and harder. So I'm really at the point where I'm tired. I'm tired of fighting, right? And something that I'm going to be talking about later on with some folks who are close to me is just like the fact that I'm tired, and it's not my work to do anymore. This is not Black people work to do anymore.
It is
right?
not our job to teach you what you should already know.
Absolutely.
At this point.
Not only to teach them, but also to do the work to fight for the equity. Like, it's time for our white counterparts to stand up and open up their mouths, because a lot of what needs to happen in their individual households, and with family members, right? Uncle Joe, Aunt Patty, who we know has some issues and some biases that they need to talk about and face. So, I mean, that's kind of where I am. I think, like, we have to continue to, elevate the issue, raise the issue, but we also have to continue to take care of our families, because once we're gone, our children will have to live in the same world, and so we have to, like, make sure we set them up for success. As far as COVID, I mean, I have had the pleasure.
COVID tore me apart.
I've had the pleasure of being able to, like, I've always been able to, like, kind of work from home, right? But COVID has forced me to, like, work from home, and has forced me to work from home with my 2 kids and my wife. And I think it's just created such a, like, unique opportunity for us to spend time together. Even if we were trying to, like, and I work in education, the homeschooling, like, all of that while trying to work a full-time job, it's tough, right?
It's very hard. Tell us about this podcast.
I ain't say nothing about no podcast.
Tell us about this podcast so we can support it.
Yeah, so it's called the Tired Podcast.
Okay.
We're going to talk about all the things that we talked about today. Education. Well, we didn't talk about church.
Oh, that part.
And everything black. And so it's really like a round table type podcast where we'll have different people, different voices come to the table and just talk about those 3 things, especially the areas in which we're just tired, right? So we talked about the civil unrest, and our fight for equity. In our education system, we have so many opportunities, but again, because of systems that have been set up, and systems that have been set up not for us, and never were set up for us to succeed. Because of those systems, like, we're still having issues today, and, like, I'm tired of that too, right? I'm tired of a broken educational system, and it's broken only because there are folks who want to continue to do the same thing over and over again and expect different results.
That can translate into other areas.
Absolutely.
Especially the church.
The church.
But that's another conversation for another day.
But like you said, it's the same thing, right? It's like we have to continue to look at whatever we do. Like, even conversations with Joe, every time you do an episode, you look at it and you're like, what can I do differently to have a different impact on my audience, right? But in so many different places in our lives, we don't want to take that step back. We don't want to step back and say, let me look at this and see how I can change it to impact my audience. It's like,
I feel like it forces people to be accountable, and some people don't want to have that revelation of, oh, this is on me, so this is something that I need to change about myself in order to change to get to what I want. And I think that's where it kind of stops for some people. They don't want to look at themselves and say, okay, this is the part that I played in this, so now this is what I need to do to move forward. I don't think a lot of people want to take that step.
And I think a lot of people just don't realize the actual power that we have as people. And so a lot of people use the excuse, well, man, that's going to be hard to change. That's going to be hard to do. We're going to run up against trouble. Like, there's always a way of getting around. There's always a way of getting things done. And you may upset some people. And you may lose some friends.
You will.
You may lose some fans, whatever it is.
Yes.
But, I refuse to die and not have done the right thing in each area of my life. So in education, I refuse to die without doing things, at least within my locus of control, to impact equity for our educational system. In my work at church, I refuse to die without pushing and pushing and pushing to create, help create the atmosphere in which I think people are like dying for, right?
Yes.
Yes. You know, and same thing in our black community. I refuse to die without continuing to speak and speak up about the inequities in our community. So there's a lot of work to be done everywhere, but you know, like we can see the through line in all of it. So
give us 3 things that you would want us to know about Tavon Lawrence.
What y'all want to know? Put it in the comments. I'll just tell you.
3 things you want us to know.
3 things I want you all to know. I'll just say 3 things I want people to know. Not necessarily about me. Is that all right?
That's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
The first thing that I want you all to know is that life is all about sacrifices. Like you're gonna have to make some sacrifices to do what you want and to get results. And so in whatever work that you're doing, whatever dreams you have, know that there's always going to be a sacrifice that has to be made. I think 2, operate with a spirit of excellence, right? If you are not going to do the work that you're doing with a spirit of excellence, get out and let somebody else do it. There's no point in continuing to do things halfway.
You're right.
I mean, you know.
That's absolutely right.
Do it with a spirit of excellence. Don't half-tail it. Like, get in there, do the work. And again, like, if you're not going to do it, move on.
Move to the side. Somebody else can.
And then the last thing would be don't die on empty. Don't die on empty. Like, make sure that you do everything or strive to do everything that the Creator and God has told you.
But wouldn't that be the opposite? Like, you should die empty? Like that. All right. Well, that's how I look at it.
I mean, whatever you want to say, glass half full, whatever, right?
Right.
But just like make sure that like you are like living out your true and defined purpose. There's just like so many things and that God will give you. And I truly believe that there's a time period that you have to execute those things. And if you don't execute it, God will choose someone else to do it. And you'll be sitting back like, my God, that was my idea. And now look at this on the OWN channel. Oprah's doing it.
Listen.
So those are my 3 things.
Thank you guys for joining us for another episode of Conversation with Joe. I'm Chris, and this is Tavon, and we are signing out. Thank you, T. All
right, Chris.
We did it. Ow. I finally got Tavon on my show, and
I'm feeling like this is gonna wind up in the edit
it is.
somehow.
It's hot, yo.